Hi everyone, it's Melissa.
And Desiree.
Welcome to another episode of G.E.N Talks, where the goal is to empower the youth of Glendale and connect youth to community resources, individuals, and organizations through interviews and discussions.
Today's special guest is Dora Herrera. Dora is head of the Herrera family business that has been feeding hungry diners since 1976. Yuca's restaurants' customers span 4 generations of satisfied and loyal addicts to the small batch, quality-driven menu served out of the 8x10 converted shoe shine stand known fondly as the Hut.
Before we get started, don't forget to follow us on our socials, both on Facebook and Instagram at MyGlendaleLAC. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Apple or where you listen to podcasts. Also, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Glendale Library Arts and Culture, where we post full episodes every Friday at 4:30 p.m. Thank you, Dora, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. We have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yay. To begin with, you're the head of the Herrera family business, which is Yuca's Restaurants. Could you tell the viewers at home how Yuca's Restaurants came to be?
Sure. It was 45 years ago, and my mom had always wanted to run a little business to show the people in Los Angeles what real Mexican food tasted like. And so she saw this little place, as an 8x10 converted shoe shine shack. And she looked at it and she said, "It's perfect." And everybody else said, "You're crazy." But, true to her vision, she's like, "No, I'm going to do this." And she did it. And her business plan was, I want to cook great food. People are going to smell it. They're going to stop by. They're going to line up around the block. And we'll make enough money to make sure that the family thrives. Sure enough, that came, that was like the best business plan ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, here we are 45 years later, sorry. And we just got one of our new customers that moved from New York, just did an article on us on a magazine called The Click, which is out of New York University journalism school. So it's like, oh, wow, that's so, it's like,
yeah,
our family is always growing and bringing joy.
So what is your favorite dish at Yuca serves?
Well, I like it all, but my favorite is the cochinita pibil. It's a dish traditional in the Yucatan. It's let's see, you take pork and you place it on a bed of banana leaves and you season it with achiote spices, and then you cover it with more banana leaves and you throw it in the oven for about 12 to 14 hours so that it's just juicy and falling off the bone and delicious. And then you make tacos or tortas or burritos, quesadillas, nachos, you plate, it's like, and it's hard to describe unless you've had it before, but it's one of the most, I would say it's the ninth wonder of the world.
You also enjoy giving back to your community by serving on the public media group Latino Community Council and as an ambassador with the LA area chambers. So how important is it for you to give back to your community?
It's kind of like in my DNA, I don't see it as, I think today I'll give back to my community. It's like, Desiree's got this thing going. How can I help her make it better? And sometimes it just happens. Like I was invited to an event in Toluca Lake for the holidays, and it was very simple. It was a Mack truck going like 5 miles an hour up and down the business, playing holiday music out of speakers that were like 6 feet tall. And people would come out, like we were eating in a restaurant and we came running out when we heard the music, and everybody else was coming out of the other businesses. And as the truck passed by, everybody was singing, and then they would go back in, and then 20 minutes later the truck would come back and people would rush back out. And I thought, Los Feliz needs this. So I went back to my business improvement district and we started the Los Feliz Holiday Festival. And that was like 20 years ago. And we don't have the entire festival anymore just because of the recession and then the pandemic and all that. But just last Saturday, we had our tree lighting extravaganza at the library, and it was just, people love it. It just brings everybody together and makes everybody happy, which is what I like. I like fun, happy things in my life.
So Yuca supports many nonprofit organizations with food donations to ensure that they continue their good works. How did you find the right nonprofit organizations to support?
They're all my customers. They're either customers or soon to be customers, or I hear about them from other customers. Like my current favorite now is the Latino Restaurant Association. And I heard about the woman that runs it, Lily Rocha, through my cousin. And then we were at an event and she's like, oh, you haven't met her, come on over. And we were introduced, and through her, I've received many grants for the restaurant because of the pandemic. And I've also, we did the Pasadena Food Hug, which started out as a, 1 or 2 time Friday thing where we provided lunch for first responders or essential workers. And people loved it so much, they ended up donating all this money. And we did it for a year. And it wasn't my restaurant every Friday, but it was always, every Friday we were the Pasadena Food Hug. We'd arrive with a truck full of food and people would come out. And especially the people at the hospitals were, they're almost crying with joy because someone cared enough to, I'm sorry, I'm getting all joy. Somebody cared enough to bring them lunch when they had been working like 14 or 16 hours trying to save other people. And because she does something like that, I throw all my support behind that particular organization. And like her, there are so many others, not only in Los Angeles, but throughout the United States that do incredible work.
And how have you seen the industry change throughout the years? And how have you guys adapted and tackled on all of those changes?
The industry, oh goodness. The LA Chamber started having Zoom networking meetings. And because we were online and we didn't have to drive, they started inviting like San Fernando Valley and San Diego. And so like a bunch of different chambers started getting together. And at one meeting, the woman who led the Black American Chamber mentioned that 40% of Black restaurant businesses have permanently shut down. And the number was just like, wow. And it wasn't, I can't continue during the pandemic. It was like they were completely gone, erased forever. And that was just heartbreaking because the small businesses are the heart of the country to me. If we have big corporations that make millions of dollars and serve out food that's like cookie cutter, you can get fed and it can be cheap, but you don't have the same sense of community as you get from a small business owner who puts their blood, sweat, and tears and heart into it day in, day out. They build the community. They come out and, like sweep the streets if they need to, anything for the community kind of thing. And I think it's very sad that we lost so many community businesses.
Has there been an experience with a customer that has stuck with you?
Yes. This one's great. So this woman started showing up and she said, "Hello, most beautiful woman in the world." And I went like, "Hello, good morning." And then every time she came, she was like, either hello or good morning. "Most beautiful woman in the world." And after a while, when I saw her get out of her car, I was like, I'm the most beautiful woman in the world, and she's going to come and tell me that. And I noticed it over, like a space of months that my initial reaction was, what, are you crazy? Who is this woman? To, I like this. Thank you. I am beautiful. I am the most beautiful woman in the world. And so after a while, when she said it, it was like, hi, yes, that's me. And you are the most lovable person in the, and then I started sharing back. And it was such a lesson in, you know, how you approach people, how you talk to people it just impacts them. It changes their life. It changes their attitude. Just this morning, I was reading a little thing on Instagram that said, before you walk out your front door, dance a little, because that'll affect how you walk throughout the rest of your day. And so it's just those little things like that that may initially set you back, but then you're like, yes, I love this. Of course I'm beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. And what has been your favorite part of this whole journey, seeing Yuca's restaurant grow?
The people, definitely. We have 4 generations of customers. In fact, we just catered a 100th birthday party for one of our customers. And so it was her daughter, her daughters, and the grandkids all together celebrating this woman. And it was just fabulous. And I have 2 guys that I met when they were like 8 years old, who are now lawyers. And they both love to show me their tattoos. One of them has it on his arm that says, "I love Mama Yuca's." And the other one has it on his bottom leg, where it says "Yuca's forever" with a ball and chain and some tacos. You know, it's just like, oh, this is so cool. And so just to connect with people, and to look forward to, you know, like my mom still gets up every day. She hasn't been for 2 years because of the pandemic, but every day she gets up and she's like, I get to go to work. Not I have to go to work or I'm going to work, but I get to go to work. And people bring their kids, their grandkids, their new girlfriends. You know, it's like this whole family, and she's the matriarch, and it's beautiful.
Talking about family, as a head of a family business, what have you learned through it all?
I learned I don't know everything. I learned that's okay. And I learned that asking for help is not weakness. It's just asking for help. It's something you don't know. And how are you going to learn it? If you pretend you know it, you're never going to learn it. And pat yourself on the back for the things that you do right. Because, you know, we're usually really hard on ourselves. And I always think, would I tell my friend that? No, I would tell her, hey, you did awesome at A, B, and C. And well, you know, D, you kind of screwed up. But so it's important to acknowledge the things that you do right.
And I know you mentioned networking. So how important has networking been throughout this whole process?
Fabulous. Like, I got a bunch of catering parties out of being on a Zoom. And the best one, I applied and was accepted into the Business Connect program for the Super Bowl, which means I can try to get contracts through them. And then I was on a Zoom call where they were teaching us, you know, what we could and can't do, how to approach people, etc. And I was in a great mood, and I was, you know, joking and laughing. And then they called me and they said, you know, because of your attitude, we'd like to highlight you as one of the Super Bowl Business Connect members. And I was over the top. And so it's not necessarily the networking, it's how you network. You know, if you're going to be there, don't be a grump. If you're going to be there, don't go there just to take. Go there to give of yourself, of what you know, or sometimes who you know. You know, like somebody say, oh, I'm looking for a lawyer to sell my lands in the Yucatan. Oh, you know what? My cousin's a lawyer, and he does, he works with American corporations. So a conversation might be beneficial. I don't know if it'll work out or not, but so you give, and then eventually people will start bringing stuff to you. So it's not the networking that's important, it's how you network.
I like that, by the way.
Oh, good, yeah.
It's very good advice. Yeah,
right.
Definitely something that like we all need to hear and remember, that you just don't show up. You show up, but like give your best self and connect
Yeah,
with
and
others.
some people have said before you walk in the door, know what you want out of the networking.
Mm.
You know, like I
Mhm.
want to meet Jane, John, and Mary from these 3 different companies. And that hasn't worked for me, frankly. You know,
Mhm.
I tried that and I just felt like I was too not real. So
Mm.
I just go and whoever catches my eye, you know, like, oh, I love that dress. I'm going to go talk to the lady with the pretty dress. And sometimes it works out that we become best friends and sometimes nothing happens. But at least, you know, I'm authentic in my approach
Mm.
Mhm.
to connecting.
So before we end, we have some rapid fire questions. The first question is, what is your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. I love blue too. What is something that you have been proud to say that you have accomplished?
I learned how to ice skate
Ooh.
on the ice hockey team at Brown University.
Oh my God. I want to learn how to ice skate.
Actually, that that accomplishment changed my life because now every time there's something new to do and I don't know how to do it, I'm like, I learned how to skate and I made it for 4 years on the ice hockey team. I can do this, you know. So that was, I think that has been my best lifetime achievement.
So what is some advice that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
Whew, that's a hard one. When I was younger, don't put so much importance on what others think of you. You know, like you are enough. And if you love yourself, that's more than enough.
If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
Connecting people. Just because I think if once you connect them and they click together and
Mhm.
it's like me, myself, or Melissa herself, or Desiree herself, we can do great things, but together it's like 10 to the X power kind of thing of what we can accomplish.
If you could have 3 people dead or alive for dinner, who would it be?
Ooh, goodness. Frida Kahlo, Obama, and who else? I think Bell Hooks. She's she died on Wednesday, but she was a poet, a feminist. She changed women's lives in the 70s, you know, like so that we could become our own person and fight for what we wanted. And I like that. I like the person that changes the paradigm and says, you know, we're not going to continue doing something just because we've always done it this way. We're going to change that.
And what is a book that you have read recently or are currently reading that you would recommend?
Oh, I'm ready with that. The Disturbed Girls Dictionary. And it's by NoNieqa Ramos. So I belong to the Las Comadres National Book Club. And every month they have a different Latina author.
Oh.
And this one was incredible. It's a teen memoir in the form of a dictionary.
Oh, wow.
So it's like there's a word and she defines it, but in the defining, she tells you the story. And it is a heartbreaking story, but it you don't realize till you're almost halfway through that something is going to happen and you're not going to be very happy with it at the end. And you just hope that the young girl that's writing it came out okay. And you kind of know she did because, hey, she wrote this book. But it's an unexpected format to get a story across. So I highly recommend everybody go out and read this book. Tell them Dora sent you.
So thank you so much. We learned a lot about you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. Can you let everyone at home know about any upcoming projects and where they can connect with you?
my plans are to celebrate the holiday and enjoy life and get ready for 2022, because my word for 2022 is growth. Business, personal, and anything else in between. So
Okay, awesome.
thank you. That
Yeah.
was fun.
Thank
that
you.
Was,
Oh, yay. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was nice meeting you. Have a good
Nice
day.
meeting
great
you.
holiday.
You
You
as well.
too.
Bye.
Bye.